Hello, I am Sarah Moore, author of Peaceful Discipline, founder of Dandelion Seeds Positive Parenting, and board president for the American Society for the Positive Care of Children. I am hanging out today with my good friend KJ Altoff of Gentle Healing Mom, and we are going to talk about some more things that I'm asking everybody on the American SPCC board. KJ, thanks for hanging out with me this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited for our little chat today.
Absolutely. I would love to hear from you one myth that you feel is far too prevalent in this parenting world of ours.
Sure. I think there's a ton that's running through my mind right now, but I think one myth that I want to debunk is, or just the belief that kids who act out or that misbehave has something to do with bad parenting. And I think that's a lot of how we were raised. If you were raised in a traditional home, like I was, your child's behavior was a portrayal of good parenting. So if you had good, quiet kids, that meant you must have good parents who knew what they were doing and, raised you right. But really, it was kids who were afraid to be emotional, afraid to say what they really wanted to say, feel how they really wanted to feel. And so I honestly want to, yeah, debunk that myth that good behavior always means good parenting because kids are going to act out. They're not fully developed. They are going to have big feelings. And when they do have big feelings, they're not going to have the skills and ability to communicate what they want to communicate. They're going to act out. And that doesn't make you a bad parent.
Ding, 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 relatable in all the ways. Thank you so much, KJ. What else do you wish more parents and caregivers knew?
I think I would say I wish that more parents and caregivers knew just how imperfect we all are at parenting, even those of us in the parenting space who are actively trying to parent more positively and leave our authoritarian ways. At least for my story, I was a traditional parent, transitioned to a more gentle parent, and even though I've been gentle parenting my son for over 5 years now, I still have moments where I make mistakes. I still have moments where I could have handled something better. And so, even our parenting experts out there who have published books or have courses and all this stuff, they make mistakes too. There is no such thing as a perfect parent, and we're all still growing and learning as well. And so I hope that makes anyone feel better about the little oopsies that they make in parenting because we're all in it together.
KJ, I feel as if you are calling me out big time, and I want to say thank you for normalizing this. I'm happy to call myself out very proactively and say, gosh, yes, to everything you just said. That is so very true. So,
Yes.
last but not least, what is one actionable tip that you would like parents and caregivers to take into their parenting today?
Yes. So, one of the main tips that I love to give is because it's a personal tip that I take myself in those moments where you tend to want to lose it on your kids when you're really triggered, when they do something that's super triggering, and your automatic response is to yell or punish, slam doors, or whatnot. In those moments, I know we've heard it a lot. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but that pause is so, so important because you are kind of stopping that natural flow of how you would normally respond. You're teaching your brain like, nope, we're not going to respond that way anymore. Even if it's just a few seconds, that pause is so important. And then the next step after that pause as well, kind of knowing what you're going to do after the pause. So you're not like, okay, I'm paused, now what? Kind of knowing exactly what you're going to do next. So I like to have a strategy in place already so that I'm not thinking in the moment because it's hard to think when you're emotionally triggered. And for me, it's doing something with cold water, whether I need to splash cold water on my face, whether I need to drink a cold glass of water. Or another strategy I like to use is just taking an ice cube and like rubbing it on my neck, and finding just a way to incorporate that to kind of calm my body and just tell myself like, hey, you're fine. You're going to be okay. And then I can be more intentional with how I respond to my child in that moment.
That is so great. I, first of all, love how, and parents and caregivers, if you're watching this, write down what she said about it is hard to think when you are emotionally triggered. That's really important to remember so you can give yourself grace in the moment. And also, I am picturing like at the end of a big football game, even though I am not a sports ball kind of person, but at the end of a big football game, after the team wins, oftentimes you will see the players dump that bucket of ice water over the coach. I'm just going to ask people to follow me around and do that, even though I have nothing to do with football. So, friends, hire your team, do what you got to do to take that cold water challenge into your parenting. So actionable, even in the small ways that KJ just described. It really works. Where can people learn more about you?
Yeah, so as Sarah said in the beginning, I'm also known as Gentle Healing Mom on social. So you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Facebook, and you can also visit my website, which is Gentle Healing, www.gentlehealingmom.com.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.